Hi everyone, it's Monique with Oak Makes. I am here with you today to show you how to make the hat that I designed. It is a cluster hat. I guess I'm going to call it Oak Knob Makes Cluster Hat. I will have a written pattern available at Ravelry for download. I will also be looking into Google Docs in the hopes that maybe I can make it available for those that don't have Ravelry accounts that way. But in the meantime, just shoot me an email and I will send you a copy. If I'm able to fit the pattern in the description box below, I will. I just don't know that it will fit. So look in the description box, you'll find all the links and all that stuff. Look, it's like shadow crocheting. Sorry guys, it is what it is. Anyways, I have some Red Heart Super Saver here. It is a 4-weight in the color Flamingo, which I think is fun. So I am going to go ahead and use that because it's what I've got. And I'm going to start out with a magic ring. If you don't like magic rings, you can simply chain 4 and slip to the first. But I'm going to use a magic ring because that's what I like. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put 12 double crochets in the magic ring or in the loop that is made by your 4 chains. I'm going to assume that everybody here that's looking at this tutorial knows how to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna chain 2, and then I'm going to double crochet 12 times. I'm not counting that first chain 2 as a double crochet. And I'm going to use a stitch marker because I find that that makes my life much simpler. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, now just because I'm going to count and make sure I've got 12. And remember, I'm not counting that first chain 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that might be a tip for some people. A lot of people count up the top. I lose track really easily doing it that way, so I have a tendency, if possible, to count the posts. All right, now we're going to just tighten that up. And we're going to slip into that first double crochet, not the chain 2, but the first double crochet. Look at that. It's all splitty. This is why I don't love Red Heart, but it is what it is. Well, Red Heart Super Saver. All right, I'm going to slip to the top, the first double crochet, and there's our first round. And we are going to now we're going to chain 2. We're going to double crochet twice in each stitch. Now, I'm not going to count this chain 2, so we're just going to double crochet once right into the base of that chain 2 and twice. And now I'm going to put a stitch marker at the top of the first double crochet. And now we're going to just double crochet 2 times in each stitch all the way around. I lost some of my loop there. 2 here. Now we're going to do 2 in the next. 2. Okay, so you guys get the point. You're just going to double crochet twice in each stitch all the way around, and when you get back here, you're going to have 24 stitches, and we're going to slip to the first one. But I'll meet you back here when I have my 24 stitches. Okay guys, here we are at the end of round 2, and we're going to slip into the top of the first double crochet to join. We've got 24 stitches. I'm going to say make sure you count your stitches every row. Just good practice, I think. Now we're going to chain 2. We're going to skip the first stitch, which is the stitch that is at the base of where the chain 2 came out, okay? We're going to skip that, and we are going to double crochet into the next stitch 2 times. Then we're going to double crochet in the next stitch 1 time. Then we're going to double crochet in the next twice. Oh, this yarn is splitty. And then once more. And then double crochet twice in the next. And then double crochet once. And we're going to continue doing that all the way around. So you're going to do 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And don't forget you've skipped that first stitch that the chain 2 is coming out of. So you're going to continue that all the way around, and I will meet you back here at the beginning when I complete my round. Okay guys, we're here at the end of round 3. I have just done my last 2 double crochet. So it was, if you remember, we started out with 2. We skipped the first stitch and started out with 2 and then 1 and then 2 and then 1, and we did that all the way around. And I've just done my last 2 and the last stitch of that round. Now I am going to, if you count your stitches right now, you should have 35 stitches. Now we need 36, so we're going to double crochet into that first stitch at the base of the chain. Let me see if you can see it. Here's our chain. Here's the stitch it came out of. That's the one we skipped. We're going to double crochet right into that stitch right over the chain 2. And then we're going to slip into the top of the first double crochet in the round. And that closes our round. We basically have buried our chain 2 in the middle of a double crochet. And the reason that we did that is it helps as we're going down the increase, or the crown of the hat is where we increase. As we go across, you always get that seam. This helps to just kind of camouflage that seam a little bit better. So that was the end of round 3. We are going to start round 4, and we're going to chain 2. Again, this does not count as a stitch. We're going to skip the first stitch, which is again at the base of the chain 2. We're going to double crochet in the next stitch. Whoops. And then we're going to double crochet twice in the next stitch. Sorry guys, I'm struggling between this hook and this yarn. They don't love each other. And then I'm going to double crochet once in the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to double crochet twice in the next stitch. Sorry guys, too much coffee. Okay, so we skipped a stitch. We have our chain 2 that's not a stitch. We skipped that stitch. We did 1 and then 2 in the next, and then 1 and then 1 and then 2 in the next. And we're going to again do 1 in the next, 1 double crochet, and then 1 double crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. And we're going to continue around the rest of the round doing that 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2 until we get to the last stitch where you should be putting 2 double crochet. And I will meet you back here at that point. Okay guys, so now we are at the end of round 4, and if you count your stitches right now, I've just put the last 2 double crochet in the last stitch, and I'm going to now, just like we did last one, I'm going to double crochet into that first stitch that the chain 2 comes out of in the row below, and I'm going to double crochet right over that chain 2. Oh, that's a little messy. Sorry guys, I'm having a hard time. It's kind of weird to try and crochet around a tripod. And then I'm going to slip into the first double crochet of that round. Whoops. And that completes round 4. And so we're going to move on to round 5. And just like the other ones, you're going to chain 2. Doesn't count as a stitch. We're going to skip the first stitch, just like the last time, and we're going to double crochet 1 time in the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to double crochet twice in the next stitch. And then you're going to double crochet 1 time in each of the next 3 stitches. And then double crochet twice in the next stitch. Sorry guys, I just keep hitting the tripod. Someday we'll look back on this tutorial and say, oh wow, I remember how bad the first tutorials I made were. Yeah. Anyways, so much like we did before, we have a chain 2, doesn't count as a stitch. We skipped the first stitch. We double crocheted 1 time in the next 2, then twice in the next 1. And now we've double crocheted 1 time in each of the next 3 stitches. And now we've double crocheted twice in 1 stitch. So we have skip, double, double, 2, double, 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 2, double. And you're going to continue on with that around, and I will meet you back here just like we did last time, where you should be putting 2 double crochets into this last stitch of the round. I'll meet you when we get back there. Okay everyone, here we are. We are back at the end of row or round 5. I keep saying row, it's round 5. And if you count your stitches right now, you should have 59 stitches. We've just put 2 double crochet in the last stitch of the round, and we have 59. We need 60, so we are going to do what we did in the last 2 rows. We're going to put a double crochet in the first stitch that we skipped at the beginning at the base of the chain 2, and we're going to double crochet over the chain 2, and then we are going to slip to the top of the first double crochet that we had made in the round and join for 5. Now this is the point where I start to measure the crown of my hat to see if I have hit the measurement for my head. This is where you would want to reference the video on how to measure your head and figure out your measurements. Now I need about 6.5. I've got 6. Now each one of these is coming out at about, each row is about 3/4, almost 3/4 of an inch. So if I did another round, I would have 3/4 of an inch on each side, which would give me almost 1.5 inches, which would put me at 7.5 inches, which is going to be too large. So I am going to err on the side of 6 inches across instead of 6.5, because I know that on my ease I went 1.5 inches, so I can take off 1/2 inch, and I'm pretty sure 6 inches is going to do it for me, because it will be a snug hat, but it won't be too tight. And again, this is where you want to go and check out the video about how to size your head, where I talk about the ease and all of that. And it will be in the written instructions, like I said. Look at my nails, guys. Look at, it's like, I wish it would focus. It's probably not going to focus. They're bandanas. Aren't they cute? 4th of July. I had to go with something a little bit festive anyways. All right, so that was the end of row 5. Round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am done with the crown of my hat, and I have 60 stitches. If your hat needs to be larger, you're going to continue on with what we had just done for the other rows, but you're going to add an additional single double crochet between the increased stitches. So if you need to put it on another row, just follow those instructions, pause the video, go ahead, and then come meet us again when you finish that row. And of course, it continues on that same way. If you have a really big noggin or know somebody that has like a really big melon, just keep doing that and adding that one increase. So this was 3, that would be 4, and then 5 between the increased stitches. We're going to move on to the body, and I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to half double crochet in that first stitch that we just came out of, and then I'm going to half double crochet in the next. And I am just going to half double crochet in every stitch all the way around, which will be 60 half double crochets for me. And I'm actually going to put a stitch marker in the top of the first half double crochet just so that I don't lose it later on. This yarn is kind of fuzzy. There we go. So I'm just going to half double crochet in every stitch all the way around, and I will meet you back here. Okay, so we are back at the end of round 6. I have done a half double crochet in each stitch around. I have 60 stitches, 60 half double crochets, and I am now going to slip stitch into the top. Oops, it's fighting me. It's a little fuzzy right there. Slip stitching into the top of the half double crochet in order to join. I apologize, guys, if you can hear my AC. I am not in my craft room at the moment because, let me fix the camera, because I don't have AC up there and it's really hot today, and I just forgot to open the door so it could cool down. So I am filming in my living room, and I hope you will forgive me for the noise. Okay, so again, on to round 7. What we're going to do is we're going to chain 2. Okay, and we are going to do a half double crochet into the 3rd loop. And I want to show you where that 3rd loop is. And it's not going to be of the first stitch. Now the first stitch is at the base of that chain 2. That's not where we're going. We're going to the next stitch. This is the next stitch. That's normally where you put your stitch, right through there. We all know what that V looks like. The 3rd loop, if you flip this over a little bit and look at the back, right here, that's the 3rd loop. So if you look this way, here's our V. Right there. Right back there is the 3rd loop. And that's where we're going to be stitching. So we're going to make a half double crochet in the 3rd loop of the next stitch. And we're going to do that all the way around. So we had 60 half double crochets at the end of the last round. And we are going to have 60 half double crochets when we get to the end of this round. So I think you can see what I'm doing. Here, pick up that loop, pull through, half double crochet. All right, so I want you to go ahead and do that all the way around, and I will meet you back here. Hi guys, here we are at the end of row 7, or round 7, I'm sorry, and we have our half double crochet in the 3rd loop all the way around. Right at the moment, I have 59 stitches. Now, you get this last stitch, okay, and it's real tight in here, and it's where you've got the first stitch that you came out of, That's the base. You can, you know, do it right here. And, oops. You can half double crochet right there in that third loop, pull up. And then you can slip into the top of the first half double crochet of the round, oops, to join. This yarn is so splitty. There's a reason I don't love it. And there we go, that's round 7. If you want, however, you can do what we had been doing, which is you can half double crochet kind of around this chain 2 by, oops, go over, go underneath that chain 2, okay, and we're going to pick up the third loop of that first stitch, and then we're going to half double crochet. Whoops, look at that, guys, it is fighting me so bad. There we go. Pull this through, and now we can slip into the top of that first stitch and close it up. That is what I am going to opt, oh, for goodness sakes, that is what I am going to opt to do, just because I think it looks better. But you can absolutely do the first one that I did, which was just a simple stitch, and leave that too, and then just go over the top of it with your slip. Either way, whatever works for you is fine with me. So that is the end of round 7. And you can see what we look like. Look at, there's a imperfection in my yarn. There's like a weird color in the pink. Wouldn't it figure, you know? Let's go on to row 8. We are going to single crochet, we're going to chain 1. Sorry about that. Chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet into the third loop of the first stitch. I'm not going to skip one. I'm just going to go right there. And I'm going to single crochet. I'm going to put a stitch marker right there because I find single crochets are sometimes more difficult to identify at the beginning if everything is kind of tight. So I'm just going to mark that out so that I know where I'm going at the end. And we are going to I'm constantly, after I've done this many doubles or half doubles, I just do the automatic, and that's not what we want. So we're just, again, third loop, single crochet, third loop, single crochet, third loop, single crochet, and we're just going to do this all the way around until we get back to the beginning. So this should be pretty simple for you guys. I'm sure at this point you are familiar with that third loop, and you can see what going into the third loop does. It forces the V-stitch that normally is upright to fold to the front. It forces it to kind of curl to the front, and you get this flattened V-stitch look. Well, V-stitch, V. You get this flattened stitch, which looks like V's that go around. Just give a little bit of texture. So you're gonna, like I said, single crochet in the third loop of each stitch all the way around. I'll meet you back here at the beginning, and you want to have, ultimately, when you finish this row, 60 stitches again. Okay guys, we are back at the end of round 8. And you can see the hat is starting to do its thing. It's starting to cup the way we want it to. And I have done my single crochet in the third loop all the way around. I joined to the first single crochet. I have 60 stitches, and now I am going to chain 2, and we'll start round 9. We're going to cluster into the third stitch. So we're going to, yarn over, and here's first, second, third stitch. Pull up a loop, pull through 2. Yarn over, in the same stitch, pull up a loop, come through 2, you'll have 3 on your hook. You're going to yarn over, go back in that same stitch one more time, pull up a loop, pull through 2, you'll have 4 on your hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through all 4, and now you're going to chain. And now you're going to skip a stitch, and you're going to cluster into the next stitch. So yarn over into that second stitch, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, 1, 2, 3 on the hook, yarn over into that stitch, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, you have 4 on your hook, yarn over, pull through all, and then chain. Now we're going to skip a stitch. We're going to do another cluster stitch into the next stitch. So that was a yarn over, pull up, yarn over through 2, yarn over into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over into the same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, you have 4 on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 4, chain. And this is what we've got. This is what it looks like. So we have that chain 2. We're going to be, we skipped that first and the second, did our cluster in the third, skipped 1, cluster, skip 1, cluster. And you're just going to keep doing that. You're going to do a cluster, you're going to do a chain, you're going to skip a stitch, do another cluster, all the way around until we get back here. Okay guys, so we have completed 29 of the cluster stitches in row 9, and you should be back here. You should have, you know, this here. You should have another stitch left, and I've just done my cluster and then my chain 1, and I am going to cluster right into that stitch at the base of the chain 2 that we started the row with. So just like all those other rows when we were increasing, we're going to cluster right over that chain 2. Chain 1, and then we're going to slip into that first cluster stitch of the row, and we will have 30 cluster stitches. So that's the end of row 9. Now keep in mind you want to have done your measurements on your hat or measurements on your head so that you could customize the size of the hat. You could know when to measure and all of that. We are going to repeat all of the stitches from row 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so I have completed round 14, and I want to measure to see if I've hit the length. Now mine was 6.5, which is the length my hat, so that's the total length you want your hat to be from crown to wherever on your ear, minus the band width, the width of the band that you're going to have. So I was shooting for about an 1.5 inch wide band, so I was at 6.5 inches. So that was the measurement I was shooting for. And we've got 6. So I'm faced with a choice, and this is where it can be customized even more. You can do what you want. See, there's something in the yarn. It's annoying the heck out of me. I could do a couple more rows of this, the crocheting in the third loop, and that's about 1/2 inch. So that would give me 6.5, but I would have to do, if I did 2 rows, I'd have to do a row of half double crochet or single crochet, just basically repeat so that I have something to start my band in, because you don't want to do this and then immediately stitch in it. You know? So I think what I'm going to do, but you could totally do that. I'm going to just make my band a little wider, I think. But if you got to this point and you needed more length, you would just decide how many more, you know, do you want to do these more rows? I'm set up so that I could start basically with this first row, flip this way, and then I could do another row in the top and then start my band. But I think I'm going to just start my band. You do it how you want it to look, okay? That's all there is about that. So we are going to start on the band. If you are not ready to start on your band, just go ahead and pause the video and then start it back up when you are at that measurement that you need, or as close to it as you can get. If you are ready for the band, then let's go ahead and start up. We have 60 stitches, and we are going to chain 3, and then we are going to front post double crochet in the second stitch right here. And then we are going to back post double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And back post. I'm assuming that you know how to do front post, back post. If not, you know what, I'll just do a quick in case you're not. So I'm going to do then 2 front posts. So you're going to yarn over, put your hook behind the post from the row below, yarn over, pull that behind, pull it up, and complete your double crochet like you would any other double crochet, and it just grabs that post. So we're going to do that again. Yarn over, behind the post, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, and complete the double crochet like you would any other. Oh, it's fighting me. There. And now we're going to back post double crochet. So instead of going in front, we're going to grab that post from behind, pull through. Now this part can be a little fiddly. It's really easy to get stuck in there as you're trying to pull that through. Make sure you're not like tight down like this. It won't give you much. Give yourself a little bit, pull it up so that you're at a decent height for the stitch. And then do that again. Again, we're coming behind, go over that post, yarn over, pull that bit of yarn through, and complete your double crochet like you normally would. And then front. So you get the point. What are we doing here? We're doing 2 front post double crochet, then 2 back post double crochet, then 2 front post double crochet, then 2 back post double crochet, and that is what the entire band is going to be made up of. I will do probably 2 rounds, and then I will measure my hat and see where I am, and 2 rounds may do it, or 2 rounds may not. And I would probably try my hat on as well at that point and see, do I like it? So you're going to continue to do that. I will meet you back here. So we are here back at the end of round 14. I have just done 2 back post double crochets, and now we are back to our chain 3 and the post that came out of. We're going to front post double crochet right around that, right over the chain 3. And then we're going to slip to the top of the first front post double crochet that we made. And then we're going to do it again. We're going to chain 3, and we're going to front post, back post, back post, front post, front post, back post, back post. Same thing we did last time. If you did a back post last time, do a back post this time. And you're going to get all the way around, and I will meet you back at the beginning. Okay everyone, so here we are. I have completed 2 rows of the band. Front post, back post, 2 front posts, 2 back posts, 2 front posts, 2 back posts, all the way around. I have tried on my hat, and I am pleased with it at this size. So I am going to go ahead and call my hat complete. This is what it looks like. I think it's adorable. This is not for my head. It's loosely based on my measurements, but it's for somebody smaller than me, so I think that this is going to fit. You might have wanted to add another row, or like I had said before, you could extend by doing this again between the cluster and the band, and that might actually look really neat and create a nice separator. But this is kind of why this is customizable. You can make it work however you want to make it work, dependent upon the measurements that you need. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it works for you. If you try it, I hope that you'll let me know what you think. And also, if you try it, shoot up a picture on Instagram and just do hashtag OakDobMakes or tag me or whatever, so that I can see what you make. I think that's so fun. I think that's it. If there's any questions whatsoever, let me know. Like I said, I will have this available as a download on Ravelry. It's not going to be ready immediately for download, but I will have it available for those who might want to email me. I can email you a copy. I'm also going to try to put it in the description box below. If it's not in the description box, it just means that I couldn't fit it, and just send me an email. Once I do have a PDF available for download on Ravelry, I will make sure that there is a specific link to that pattern and not just my general Ravelry link, which is in my description box always. For those of you that don't have Ravelry, please either email me or you could comment too, but it's easier if you just email me, because then I can just respond right away with it, and I'm happy to send it. And I will look into, like I said, getting a shareable Google Doc, and if I do that, check in the description box below, because once if I am able to, once I do, I will put a link to that as well. So thank you for hanging in there and checking it out. I look forward to seeing what you make, and I hope you all are having a wonderful day. All right, guys, I'll see you later.